Thank you for listening to Depictions Media Radio.
Acknowledging that I'm joining you from the traditional territories of the Musqueam, the Squamish, and the Tsleil-Waututh nations. The last 14 months has been incredibly hard on people around the world, including right here in British Columbia. We've learned a lot of things about community and about each other, but one of the things that I think has come through as a strong lesson is how important British Columbians find the opportunity to get fresh air, to be out in nature, and to connect with family and friends in a natural setting. We've heard lots of calls for more funding for BC parks, more campsites, more outdoor recreation activities and opportunities generally. So it's my pleasure today to announce that over the next 3 years, we'll be investing $83 million in BC Parks operating and capital budgets. This additional funding will accomplish a lot of things. It'll support current operations for the parks and our facilities maintenance, construction of new campgrounds, as well as additional campsites and amenities at existing campgrounds. Up to 100 new campsites can be developed every year in areas of the highest demand. We're also planning to enhance our trails and improve accessibility for people, whether they're using strollers or they're in wheelchairs or they have other accessibility challenges. We want BC Parks and nature to be for everyone. We're going to invest in maintaining existing facilities and infrastructure, as well as hiring more staff to enhance the stewardship of our parks. These investments will also support local businesses and the provincial economy by creating employment opportunities and the opportunity to provide services to the park system. We know British Columbians care deeply about our fantastic BC park system, and they want us, the government, to protect and manage the park system effectively, as well as expand it. This budget increase builds on some recent funding that we introduced as part of our recovery program, Stronger BC, where we invested $5 million in infrastructure projects in 24 different provincial parks. We upgraded drinking water systems, boat launches, campgrounds, as well as cultural interpretation centers and the backcountry. During the last 4 years, we've added over 1,500 campsites to provincial parks and rec sites with the highest demand areas in British Columbia. We're opening a fully serviced 90-site campground in Manning Park this year. We know that investing in BC parks keeps them secure and also provides an ongoing natural legacy for years to come for all British Columbians, for our children, and for our grandchildren, and for all the people that sometime in the future we are going to welcome back to British Columbia. I'd now like to ask Parliamentary Secretary Kelly Greene to say some words.
I'm coming to you today from Richmond, the traditional and unceded territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh people. Today is a great day for the many, many British Columbians who enjoy our world-class park system. This past year has shown how important our provincial parks are to our culture, our health, and our pride in our province. The pandemic has limited our social interactions and disrupted our leisure activities, changed our work routines. But that's why so many British Columbians are taking advantage of our spectacular outdoors. It's a reminder of how important it is to protect and enhance our parks so that all British Columbians can enjoy what our parks have to offer. My mandate as Parliamentary Secretary for Environment recognized this heightened importance of the well-being we receive from interacting with nature in the context of the pandemic. My task, along with Minister Heyman, is to guide work to create new campgrounds, trails, and protected areas and improve park infrastructure. Today, we're doing that. This is a significant investment in new campsites, expanded trail systems, and stronger management of our parks. I'm excited that this year, more than 180 new campsites are being added to BC Parks, and that's on top of the 1,500 sites added to BC Parks and rec sites in the past 4 years. It means more people will be able to enjoy staying in some of the most beautiful parks in the world. As importantly, this funding will help us maintain our parks to make sure that we protect our environment and ensure our park visitors get the best experience possible. Our parks are so important to who we are as British Columbians. They reflect our love for our awe-inspiring natural areas. They contribute to our physical and mental health and well-being. They provide another way for us to learn about Indigenous culture and teachings, and during the pandemic, they've offered a safe way for people to connect with our spectacular environment. I'm very proud of our BC parks, and I'm looking forward to the benefits that our investment today will bring. Back to you, Minister Heyman.
Thanks so much, Kelly. It's so great to have somebody who is focused on our BC park system as part of their day-to-day responsibilities. I'd now like to call on Annita Mcphee, the Executive Director of the BC chapter of the Canadian Parks and Wilderness Society. Annita?
Ushia, Dinasotia, Chiona Justini, Lutsama Justini, and Tegishkwan Justini. My name is Annita Mcphee, and I'm from the Tahltan and Tlingit Nations. I'm the Executive Director for Canadian Parks and Wilderness Society. I'm honored to be here. I'm coming to you live from Squamish Nation Territory, Capilano. I want to personally thank Minister Heyman and Parliamentary Secretary Greene for this historic announcement. I'm happy to see you supporting conservation and making wildlife a priority. That just warms my heart. We're so excited. This is a historic investment in parks. Over the past year, we've seen how important parks are to people. We depend on healthy wild spaces for our physical and mental health. I know for myself personally, I welcome this news, and many other mothers are welcoming this, and many families, so we can get outside in a safe and healthy way. When I think about a good future for parks, it includes many of the promises that have already been made. Trails that are safe and maintained, staff that feel supported in their jobs, Indigenous knowledge embedded into the stories that make up our protected areas. I know for myself as an Indigenous person, I know how important tourism is to our community and to British Columbians, and parks help support tourism. And I say Madu. Parks benefit everything and everyone. Wildlife and landscapes are in trouble across the province. Protected areas help to protect us. They help to prepare us for a healthy future. I personally want to thank you, Minister Heyman and Parliamentary Secretary Greene, for protecting Mountain Zaitza. As a Tahltan, this place is very special to me. It's where our obsidian is, and it's very sacred. And I want to say Madu for last week's announcement. Madu Cho, big thank you. This momentous budget for BC Parks is a step towards restoring damaged ecosystems, creating safe wildlife habitat, and nurturing future environmental stewards. Today's announcement is the result of years of hard work. I want to acknowledge all the partners who have worked so hard to get to this incredible moment. And I again want to thank Minister Heyman and Parliamentary Secretary Greene for your leadership on this issue. I look forward to working with you and your teams as we collaborate on an equitable and accessible park system that will support people now and for generations to come. Madu Cho. Madu Cho. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Annita, and thank you and everyone who works to advocate for BC parks, for conservation, for protected areas, and for maintaining the rich biodiversity of our province for generations to come. I think we're ready for questions. Marlene?
As a reminder to reporters on the phone, please press *1 to enter the queue. You will be limited to one question and one follow-up. Please also remember to take your phone off mute. You will not be audible until your name is called. Our first question today is from Les Lane at Victoria Times. Please go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Minister, about a year ago you closed the parks entirely because of, obviously, the pandemic. Is there any contemplation, or are you aware of any discussion about any restrictions or curtailments on park access, given the COVID numbers?
We've implemented a number of measures, Les, including creating greater space by limiting the number of campsites in some parks, as well as the number of people who can be in a campsite. As you know, we've restricted reservations in BC parks to residents of BC to carry through for reservations past the Labor Day long weekend. But we're also very importantly telling British Columbians to pay attention on a daily basis to the direction and advice of the provincial health officer. And right now, that's stay in your own community, stay in your own neighborhood. So people who are lucky enough to have a park in their immediate vicinity may use that as an opportunity to get out, to expose themselves and their family to fresh air, to the beauty of the outside. We are all hopeful the time comes when we can travel more widely, but we're monitoring the situation every day, and we follow the advice of the provincial health officer, as well as consulting with our office about whether the measures we are taking are adequate. I'm not going to speculate on what direction the pandemic may take in the future. We're all hoping that everybody lessens their number of social interactions so we can keep the number of infections at or hopefully below where we are in the last few days. We know that we don't want to see our health system overwhelmed. We don't want to see more damage to our economy or small businesses or working people. We don't want more people to get sick. So like everyone else in British Columbia, we're following the advice of medical health, and we will take the precautions that are necessary, but nothing specific is planned today more than what we have in place now.
Les, do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, thanks. Does your analysis or count of the reservations to date confirm that essentially people only nearby the park should be using the campsites, or have you analyzed it to that extent?
It's harder to analyze British Columbians' movement around the province. We know, for instance, lots of people were taking ferries during spring break. We can't speculate on how much of that was essential and how much of that was travel. What we do know from spot audits we did over the Easter weekend was, in terms of people from out of province coming or trying to make reservations, we had a well over 99% compliance rate with reservations. And when we called some numbers where we weren't sure if people were residents of BC, a number of people voluntarily canceled their reservations. So I would say our reliance on giving advice and voluntary compliance with the reservation system has been exceptionally high. And of course, in every aspect of daily life in British Columbia, we want people to be safe. We want them to understand the risks that are ahead if we don't follow the advice of the provincial health officer. We need to get more people vaccinated, and we need to hold infection rates down. And we're going to do whatever we can and whatever the provincial health officer advises to assist in that effort.
Our next question today is from Andrew Kuriata, CBC News.
Hi, Minister Heyman. You put out a statement earlier this morning about MLA Rustad of the BC Liberals. Just to clarify, are you demanding that he be kicked out of the BC Liberal caucus?
What I'm calling for is for leader Shirley Bond to make clear that her party and her caucus understands that we're in a climate crisis, that climate change is real, and that climate change is caused by human activity. Yesterday, John Rustad refused to say that he believed climate change was real, and he refused to say that he believed it was caused by human activity. So today I called on Shirley Bond to demand that John Rustad make his position clear, and hopefully he makes it clear that he does believe that climate change is real and we need to do things to fight it. If she doesn't do that, she's essentially admitting that the big tent of the BC Liberal Party has lots of room for climate change deniers.
Did you have a follow-up?
Yeah, I think I'd like to follow up on Les's question, which is about checking to see whether people are traveling from outside of their health regions, because we're getting this message that you shouldn't, but at the same time people are being served up ads encouraging them to go visit BC parks. So is there no way for rangers or people booking or anything to even just ask and advise people whether they are planning on leaving their local community, and if they are at least advising not to do that, rather than just allowing people to travel around the province, which is clearly something that we're seeing?
Well, people who are choosing to travel are choosing to travel for a variety of reasons, and universally public health and our government are encouraging people to stay local. Since the day we opened the reservation system, I've been very clear. The direction for now is limit yourself to essential travel or stay very close to home. And we repeat that. We keep repeating it. It's up on our website. We have lots of things to do in BC parks and conservation officers to keep communities and people safe on a number of fronts. We are taking every opportunity there is to advise British Columbians to stay close to home. Once they've made that travel, I think the purpose is defeated. So we want to get the message out to people before they load up their car and travel beyond their immediate vicinity of their home community.
Our next question is from Colton Davies, Radio NL. Please go ahead.
Hi, Minister. Thanks for doing this. And just to add, you've been talking a lot about, campsites and travel related. You've been asked a lot. I just wanted to ask too, obviously it's an honor system for people outside of BC to not book until July 8th. Could this potentially be looked at? Has there been any advice from health officials to perhaps change that or postpone any out-of-province campers from being able to book, whether it's July 8th or later, considering, the spike in COVID-19 cases that we're seeing and the data showing that we're on track to see significantly more cases?
There's been no advice to date. We're monitoring the situation, as is the Provincial Health Office, on a regular, virtually daily basis. If we get to the point where we're seeing infection rates rising in British Columbia and Canada, I think all governments in Canada will be advising people very strongly to stay at home, and other measures may be taken. Last year, we called people from out of province and asked them to voluntarily cancel their reservations, and they did in huge numbers, very high percentages. Let's see what the future brings. July 8th is a little ways away yet.
Colton, did you have a follow-up?
Yes, and I appreciate that answer. I just wanted to ask something a little more closer to Kamloops, and that's will the province pay to repair Clearwater River Road? It's been washed out since July 1st of last year, and it's a road near Wells Great Park, and there's private businesses and a few private property owners who are impacted by that washout, and it remains impassable. Volunteers were set up to do it, but they're no longer able to. So just wondering if the province might step in and pay and do that work.
Well, we have a real interest in seeing that road fixed, and we've been working with the mayor as well as the volunteer local groups to try to get that road fixed. Unfortunately, the reason the volunteers weren't able to do it is some engineering instability was found that made it a very complicated and not practical fix. We're now working on it, looking for an alternative route. We know it's important to people. We want to get it fixed, but it also has to be safe. And whatever fix we put in place has to be one that will stand the test of time and not fail again.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, everybody.
This show has been produced by Depictions Media. Please contact us at depictions.media for more information.